Welcome to You Matter Nashville, where we celebrate the people and stories that make our community so special. We believe that everyone has a story to tell, and more importantly, everyone here matters.
We're your hosts, Jason and Mindy Hoover, and we're passionate about shining a light on individuals who are making a real impact right here in Middle Tennessee. This is about community, connection, and the incredible people who are making a difference.
Let's dive in as we uncover powerful stories and meet remarkable people whose journeys will inspire us all, right here on You Matter Nashville. Hey friends, welcome back to You Matter Nashville. I'm Jason Hoover, along with my absolutely amazing wife, Mindy. And joining us today is Grant Burnside. He is the president and owner of Superior Exteriors Cleaning Company right here in Williamson County. Now, Mr. Burns built his business into one of the area's most trusted exterior cleaning operations. But his story begins well before that, at 18 years old, while he was working in sales and marketing. Those formative years, he says, taught him about service, trust, and the power of genuine relationships. Today, that foundation extends beyond his company's operations. Superior Exteriors donates a portion of every sale to GraceWorks Ministries and supports families, widows, single parents, and other local nonprofits throughout Middle Tennessee. Great to have you on the show today.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
We are so glad to hear your story, and thank you for getting the green memo, by the way.
Yeah.
For those of you who can't say, we all have like a green attire going on. I do want to ask you a really important question, and that is, do you believe in New Year resolutions, and do you have one?
Yeah, great question. Here we are, beginning of January, and yes, I'd have to say that it's highly important. For me, I have several, some personal, some kind of more family related, some spiritual as well, some financial. So try to kind of classify them and try to keep those in the right place and have a well-rounded kind of goal, looking forward to from now through the end of the year.
So I know you are a Zig Ziglar fan, and that sounds a lot like his seven-spoke wheel.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Or other people have the pillars, the columns, sure. But yeah, so which is very powerful. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, I encourage you to Google that. And it's about your family, spirituality, personal, professional, all the things, and it helps you measure where you're at. But Grant, I was going through a lot of this stuff that you've done in the past, and you've been a very busy person throughout your life. And, it's going to be inspiring to hear how all of that turned out. So, let's go ahead and jump in and kind of start from the beginning, you think?
Yeah, like before Superior Exteriors even existed, I'd love to see like how you got there, and like you should say, like your mantra that you kind of have in your life to pay it forward to those that are around you. I'd love to hear from the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. Started out, fortunately, when I was younger, my parents always had something they were working on. And so from the age of, being a young kid, they were always purchasing properties and fixing them up and renting them out. So kind of had a good role model for a great work ethic when I was younger, and just, normal part of life. It wasn't something that was optional. And so
they kind of instilled that in you, like it or not.
Yeah. And I think that was very, very helpful to see that exhibited. So, fast forward, got my first job when I was 14 and worked there in senior living as a server for my whole high school career. And then after that, got into sales doing Cutco cutlery. So it's real high end kitchen knives, really good product. And basically sold to, parents and friends' parents, and set up, appointments and kind of stumble your way through it and, try to do slightly better than last time. It was, a challenge, but it's your first sales job. So you kind of learn a lot in that. And from there,
Cutco's great quality.
Oh yeah. It really helped. And you try to make it less bad than your last appointment, so.
That's exactly what you do. Yeah. What did I just learn? Let's keep moving.
Right. So from there, let's see, went on to sell magazines, traveled the country and sold magazines door to door. And that was brutal.
Wow.
I mean, that'll get you a thick skin if you've ever had one.
See, I've heard the same stories over and over about magazine and book sales door to door.
Yeah.
So, but I know it helped you as to be driven.
Oh yeah, tremendously. Yeah. Tremendously. When you're young and you're getting these jobs, you never think about in the future. It's like, I don't know if it's leading anywhere. I don't know if we're going to do anything with this. Later in life, it does come together and you are able to use those things, and nobody can take those experiences away from you. So you develop this thicker skin and you're able to okay, you don't take it personal. You move on to the next one. And so traveled and did that for a bit and came back here, Middle Tennessee. There's just, a beauty here. There's something very unique about it, and ended up moving back here and got into construction sales. So I was doing roofing, windows, gutters, and some of that was door to door as well. And so that was easier than when we traveled and sold magazines. There was a much more tangible benefit that you could sell when doing that. So did that for a while, and that was good. Learned that industry. Really liked it, and it was good. It was an intense learning process for sure. And it was a much higher ticket. So as you can imagine, when you get into higher ticket sales, your sales cycle increases. It's like big money moves slower than fast money. Fast money is great. You could, close 3, 4, 5, 10 deals in a day, but they're not going to be larger transactions versus when you get into larger transactions, the sales cycle takes longer. So learn that.
It's sort of like with, I used to sell cars a long time
ago.
In my past life. And you could sell, 2, 3 a day.
Right.
And now we sell homes. So it's much
longer. It takes a lot longer.
Right.
You may have had the same client for 6 months.
Sure. Sure. Yep. And you hold their hand through that whole sales cycle,
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So
when you started out in sales, did you initially like it?
Yes.
When you're in sales, it's a bug.
Right.
It becomes an addiction almost.
You have to love doing it. You have to feel satisfied after you help that person. You did everything for them. You found exactly what they wanted. You just have this confidence. It's like a natural high. Right. When you're like, all right, I did it. They're happy. Close the deal.
Right. Absolutely. You learn from those around you. When you get in, you see these guys that are it's easy for them. It's like second nature. And for me, I'm like, man, maybe, I'm just not that polished, and maybe I'm just not as smart as they are. And maybe it's just, and then over time, it's like, well, maybe so, but you can learn all these things. They learned all of these attributes. They weren't born with them. And so seeing that it's a skill that you can learn and then develop, I think was super helpful, as opposed to looking at it like either you have it or you don't. Like you can get there. It's just like your path along the way to get there, and how much you're willing to, keep putting in that work every day, wash, rinse, repeat to make it happen,
Very well said.
Yeah. I love what you said about, nothing's wasted. I've said that so many times in my life. I was a music major, but back in college, I was work study for the professors of architecture and design. So for 4 years, I graded papers. I felt like I had 2 degrees by the time I graduated. But oh my goodness, I use those, that 4 years of working under those professors. I learned so much. I use that every single day, what they taught me in real estate. So it was like, it's almost like God knew I was going to be needing all of this knowledge 15, 20 years down the road. And so nothing is wasted. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And before we go on, those that are watching the video of this, your background has a YouTube plaque.
It does.
And I think we need to share with them that you are like a marketing guru in a way. You're those that don't know, which I didn't before we met, is so your YouTube channel, you've got almost 42,000 subscribers, and you've done, looks like almost 3,000 videos, and you're a cleaning company. And that just kind of like, to me, that blows my mind. It's like, how many times can I shoot a video? But you're doing it and you're making it happen. I love that. I wish I was I wish I could do that. I can't even hardly figure out TikTok and Instagram.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I think
There's so many out
There's
there.
so many,
Yep.
many. You can only spread yourself so thin.
Right.
Podcast, real estate business, building your own websites.
Sure.
It all takes time.
It does, yeah.
But the thing I do want people to know is you've got a wealth of information on your videos. So that's definitely one thing we want people to go check
Sure.
out. But not even just for cleaning, even for inspiration, because just check it out. And I don't want to belabor that too much because I want to get to know who you are, Grant. Start from from back then. It wasn't the easiest journey, right?
Yeah, I'd say nothing that is worth it really comes easy, thankfully. So, no, it wasn't. Everything that you want, you're gonna have to work really hard for it. If it was easy, I think everybody would be doing it.
That's right.
But so thankfully, it doesn't come easy. But now thankfully, been able to kind of grow, personally and professionally to where, things. I'll be 35 this month in 2 weeks. I'll be 35 in 2 weeks, and so from where you start is a very different mile marker from where you end. And so along the way, you pick up things that are helpful to you, and I think find a good mentor that can help you along the way. That's going to compress those decades into days, where it's like you're not having to do it all yourself and do those most difficult journeys. You can do it, but you're going to pay in time. So for me, I found that it was extremely helpful to at least try to surround myself. If not, then I can learn. It's the information age. That anything you want to know is out there. It's just you have to organize the information because it's overwhelming. Just how many things there are out there and who you're going to tune into and listen to. And there's some wisdom that you can develop and learn that it doesn't matter. 100 years from now, we could still listen to Tony Robbins. It'll be probably just as relevant then as it is today. But if you're learning like tech or you're learning something like that, you got, it's by the minute, you know what I mean? You got to stay up on that stuff because that changes so quickly, So.
Yeah, it really does. And it's for people, I guess, like me or the Gen Xers, it's a bit of a struggle.
Sure, right.
I even have kids and they wouldn't even help me with Instagram.
Sure.
I was like,
right.
They're like, Dad, you got to go here. You have to swipe here.
I'm the one that touches things and I like things. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Sure, right.
It's like,
I just stay off of
it. Yeah, it's all good. But, we kind of discussed before we started about, everybody having a mantra, having a purpose in your business, having something that drives you. Some people believe in a word, like a word for the year or a word for their business, something that stands for what they believe in. And I believe that you have done great things with your business. And now if everybody did this, if everybody gave back to the community just a little bit with their business, can you imagine how much we could help? Right now we all kind of, lean into the government a lot, to help people out. But if every business just did a little bit, it could go a long way across our communities for people that are in need, the elderly or people who are sick or whatever the situation it may be. And I did want to talk about some of these businesses that you kind of work with, because we completely believe in working with other businesses, other established businesses and nonprofits that have a great thing going and partnering. I'm a collaborator by nature, so I love that you do this. So I would love for you to kind of get into that and talk about how you help, what you do, and what you do to make Williamson County and Middle Tennessee a better place.
Yeah, definitely. When I first jumped into this full time, somebody told me a really great saying that I really liked. And so I tried to apply that, and always thinking that light is that no man has ever gone poor from giving away too much. So you think about it, and you think, how is that possible? Nobody in history has ever gone poor from giving away too much. You can spend it, you can, not be responsible, but giving away and purposely giving back, never has led to somebody living a life of poverty. So it was interesting. I was like, wow, what an interesting concept, and really tried to think that out. So when I jumped into this, I guess let me back up. Started this August of 2017. It was a side project. It was literally, I was working in healthcare at the time, doing sales. Pretty steady job. I was doing it, and this was like a $500 investment. It was some Lowe's pressure washer, some homemade flyers, some stock images I found online. I think a phone number. I didn't even have like a true business logo yet. And I just struck out my neighborhood. I live here in Thompson Station, and I gave away 100 flyers. And it was like, hey, here's my new business. I'm starting it, and we'd love to help you give free estimates. And woke up some sleeping babies, some angry moms. One guy who wanted to tell me on his front porch how this would never work out. His son tried it, and didn't amount to anything. And it was like, hey, if you're, that's fine. We're all entitled to our opinion, but if you're not interested in an estimate, I got to go. Yeah. So gave away 100 flyers, knocked 100 doors, and I think I got like 2 or 3 estimates out of it. Of that, I got, I think two jobs out of that, and I think I lost money on both, if I remember correctly. So, but
spoken like a true entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'm not charging enough. Yeah.
But that's the thing is, make mistakes, but just don't make the same mistakes twice. That's part of life.
Yeah.
Like, make those mistakes, try those things, and see what happens. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but you find how to do it better, how to sharpen that knife. So, learn how to do it better. It's like one of the first jobs I cleaned and sealed an aggregate driveway. And at the end, he's like, oh, well, you're going to do 2 coats on it, right? And it's like, I didn't even think about that. I guess you are supposed to do 2 coats. So I had to go back and buy more sealant and go put that all down. It's like, all right, we're all done, ready to get the check. It's like, oh, you're going to fill those cracks in, right? Like, there's cracks in the aggregate. Oh yeah, I guess we got to do that too. So go back to the store, go buy the crack filler. And I guess I didn't lose money on that job. At the end of it, I said, Larry was his name. I said, Larry, man, I'll be honest, like, this was like days of work, and like, we're finally done. I made like $20 on this deal. And he said to me, I'll never forget, he said, Grant, $20 is $20. I realized at that moment, that's not Larry's fault. That's my fault, because I didn't think about how expensive this was going to be. He agreed to the price. I had to follow through. Well, actually, the estimate says, no, we're not going to be that. We're going to stick to the estimate. We're going to do what we're supposed to do, even if I lose money. And we did it. And I realized that is an ownership I have to take. So guess what? Yeah. Never again did I price a driveway for 1 coat and no crack filler. That will never happen again, because I learned the hard way.
And he let you learn that the hard way.
Right.
He could have given you more or given you a tip. Right. He's like, no, this dude's going to learn.
Yeah, no tip, nothing.
That's one of those Homer Simpson moments.
Right. So, but anyway, so built that, made mistakes year after year, had a full-time job, continued doing that. And then finally, this would have been June of 21. It had grown to the point where we had some customers, we had some repeat customers, we had some proof of concept, but it wasn't like built out, but it was a foundation, and it was a start. And I knew a lot of the mistakes and how to manage things and how to go along the way. And it was like, this is my moment. So I thought, let's jump in. And so I did. I left my full-time job. I had just turned 30 years old, and thought, let's jump in and make it happen. Worst case scenario, this fails miserably. I have to go back, tail tucked between my legs, and say, hey, look, guys, I'm sorry. Can I have my job back? Like it didn't work out. Or the other flip side is, what if I stayed on my path that I didn't love, wasn't my passion? I'll always think, what if? What could have happened? Like, how big could it have got? What could I have done? And so I thought, what? I'd rather live with that regret of I went in and I gave it everything I had and I failed, than like sit there and just wonder what if. So left my job, jumped into debt to get the bigger, nicer trailer that you needed to have bigger production, et cetera. And, against the advice of several people, and that had good intentions in mind, but they were like, what's your backup plan? And I just told them, like, there is no backup plan. It's not like, hopefully this works. It's like, hey, look, this has to work. So when you go in with that mentality, you find a way, you navigate that thing, you make it happen. And so that's what I did.
You burn the ships.
Yeah, you burn the ships. You don't have an option. You can't retreat. You're going to make this thing happen. There's no going back. So thankfully that was the best thing I could have done. So jumped in, made it happen. For long, I was worried, but for long, I needed a guy. And it was like, had a great first hire. And before that winter, I even needed another one. So we put another one on the truck. So that went well, made it through that winter. It was rough, but we made it through. And then come spring, hired another. I think we put 2 more trucks on the road that following year and built each year. So now, thankfully, to where we are today, we're the largest exterior cleaning company in Williamson County. We are also the highest rated exterior cleaning company in Williamson County, which is predominantly where we work. We do some commercial accounts in Davidson, but for the most part, we're like 90% in Williamson County every day. And so we help a lot of people. We get to do a lot of give backs. What we like to do is help people when it's just not in the budget. So a portion of every single sale is donated to GraceWorks Ministries. I think we started that in July of 21. It was right after I jumped in full time. So we donate a portion of each sale to them. So we get to help be sponsors for 2 of their events. One is a big one. It's Turkey Trot. It's on Thanksgiving morning. Every
Yes.
Thanksgiving. It's great. It's cold. It's fun. We show up there and we do that. I think we're 5 years running now. We've done that. And then the other one's like a dinner. It's a nice dinner that they do every spring, which is now in the factory. And so we sponsor those 2 events with them. We do things where we get to give back. So like the well outreach in Spring Hill is kind of similar to like what GraceWorks does in Franklin. And so we try to help them out with like washing and keeping their building up and making it look nice. We've helped like High Hopes. It's in Franklin. It's for kids with developmental disabilities. So we did a whole building wash and concrete wash for them before to kind of keep their building up. It needed it. Our business office manager has a special needs son, and he was going there at the time, and they just didn't. It wasn't in the budget. They didn't have it, so we just took care of it for them.
Wow,
that was great. Thompson Station.
We love High Hopes.
Yeah.
We had them on the show one
time. Oh
and,
yeah, they're great.
Yeah, fantastic organization.
Yeah, really
Absolutely.
good. They help a lot of people, a lot of kids that other places just wouldn't know what to do with.
Right.
Yeah. Worthy cause.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But anyway, so that and so several and Pregnancy Center of Columbia, the and widows and people who just we can help. It's not that big of a deal, but it makes a huge difference to them. Where we can make a difference.
Yes.
And I think that for us that's been crucial, and that's been a really good part of what we do, and it feels good to be able to do that.
Oh, I know what you mean. So since 2001, 21, you've been giving back, and that is, it sounds like that's not an afterthought to you. Why is that important to you? Why is giving back consistently important to you?
Yeah, I have a personal story with GraceWorks, which is part of what this stemmed from. Somebody also told me, earlier on in my career, is like always do something that basically attach yourself to something that's bigger than yourself. So when you do something, it's not about you or what you get out of it. It's not about me. It's about we. So always do things that are going to be something that's bigger than you. And so when I was 18, I had gone to GraceWorks. I had been through just a series of things, all from my things that I had caused and I had done. And at the time, it was like I was homeless. I was without a job. Things just were not looking great. I was in like a bad place in life, all from things that I did, like 100%. And my parents were just like, hey, look, you can't, stay here. You're younger siblings. You're not being a good example to them. I just wasn't on the right path. And so I went to GraceWorks, and I asked if I could get some food. And they were like, yeah. So they talked with me. They prayed with me. they ended up sending me on my way with like a cart full of groceries, like completely full to the brim, and asked if I needed help with like job placement and something else. And I was like, wow. And I was just overwhelmed with the amount of help. And it wasn't like uh, we are superior to you, or, wagging their finger, you're on the wrong path, you're doing wrong. It was just like, hopefully this will help you. And I hope you're able to get your life on track. And to me, that meant the world. And I never forgot that. And later on, thankfully, I did get my life on track. And so being kind of that full circle moment when I went back to them, I was like, hey, look, could I be on the other side of that equation? Could I be able to help, donate to where, you guys are able to give food to a guy that just doesn't have it together, that really is, struggling, and maybe he can one day get on the right path himself. So kind of doing that was a big deal to me, and realizing like in these different phases, seasons in life, sometimes people need that additional assistance, and realizing if you can be on the giving end of that, you're doing a disservice to yourself and to others to not do that.
You're so right, because I think that demographic is forgotten about so much, because when you're in that area, people have this idea that, oh, it's simple, just go get a job.
Right.
Yeah. And, there are some, we're not even going to talk about, there are some that don't want to get a job, but people like you and like, a lot of people that struggle, it wasn't as simple.
Right.
And you just need somebody to throw you a lifeline. And I love the fact that you've turned around and now you're the lifeline.
Yeah.
And so you're impacting our community that way. One thing too, we've had other businesses on here, because the whole premise of the podcast is, people giving back to the community, and most of them are nonprofits.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean a for-profit can't make a major impact. I'm just assuming here, you're not some rich billionaire,
Correct,
that has money to burn and throw away. A lot of people think, man, my profits are just so thin, I don't have anything to give back. I will give back once I reach that elusive point,
right?
Or spot. But you decided not to, because, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm thinking it's because you had that experience and you understand what it's like, and because of that, it's not an option in a way for you to not give.
Yeah. It'll never be a perfect time to give. I mean, I don't care how much you're making every single year. I don't care what that bank account looks like, what your asset column looks like. There's never that perfect time. You can always come up with a reason. Now I'll wait till I have this. I'll wait till I have that. And sure, we could do that our whole life. And then here we are, end of life, and it's, at a zero. But if you decided early on, I don't care if it's 5%, 10%, or whatever it is, you build your life around that. You won't even miss it if you decide that's just part of what you're going to do, and it's a non-negotiable.
Amen to that. When you have it auto, we have multiple accounts, bank accounts, and I just had things auto deposit. And it's like you said, once it's not there, one, like entrepreneurs, we do it for taxes.
Sure. Yeah.
It's so easy for real estate agents to come in and they get this check and to spend it all. And I try, I coach a lot of new agents, and I try to train them on that. And some of them have to find out the hard way.
Right.
Yes, they do. Right. It's feast or famine sometimes,
sure.
So you have to kind of, in certain times of the year, you are more busy than others. So, I've got to save this much, because in the wintertime, people may not be knocking on my door as much. So, that's the thing. But even with all that, we can always give.
So what are some of the relationships you've established in the community since you've started this?
Yeah, for us, I think a big thing that I put a lot of on is networking, because you want to. It's easy to kind of work your job and do your thing and forget about other industries, how they interconnect with one another. So initially getting in, a few groups that I'm a part of that are really important for me are Williamson Inc. Chamber of Commerce. I've been with them for total about 7 years now, I believe. So they're a really good chamber. They've combined basically all the different cities in Williamson County into one chamber. So it's a good sized one. And so go to a lot of events with them on their small business council, which is a council they came up with about a year and a half ago now, that helps like small businesses just starting. So if you're just starting your small business and you don't know where to go, it's overwhelming. It's like you hear about this, this video says to do this, and maybe you go to the SBA, maybe you Google it, maybe you use Chat GPT, whatever it is. There's not a streamlined or easy way to navigate what do you do in what order. Like we talked about, it's the information age. Like it's all out there, but it's not organized. And so this tries to help that a lot, where you see like, okay, I'm starting an LLC, I'm starting a sole prop. Here's kind of the series of steps to do and different resources along the way. If it's like bookkeeping's not my thing, I don't know how to do that. Marketing's not my thing, I don't know how to do that. Social media is important now. Do I need to do these stupid videos to get people's attention? It's like, okay, what's important? What do you have to do, for what industry, et cetera. So that's, great. We try to help people with that. And then I'm an ambassador with them as well. So that's Williamson Inc. Connect Nashville Business Networking, really great one. They've got like 7 meetings, I think, that run each week now. We're super Williamson County focused. So Franklin, Brentwood, College Grove, Thompson Station, Spring Hill, Nolensville, and Arrington. That's really where we are. So the 2 meetings that I go to for them are Connect Cool Springs on Wednesdays and Connect Spring Hill on Thursday mornings, which are great meetings. Really like those. And then we've been with Spring Hill Chamber now for like probably 3.5 years. I think we've been with Spring Hill Chamber. So that's a good one. That's a good one too. So for me, it was like at first I was, really working to get in front of, interestingly enough, like white collar guys. So I want to be in front of my realtors. I want to be in front of my property managers. I want to be in front of insurance guys. I want to be in front of a lot of white collar. I'm trying to think what else specifically. Bankers, I think maybe at one point I targeted. It's actually, and that's great. I love these relationships. But where we provide also a lot of value, I found, is my blue collar guys. So where we send a lot of referrals, we're very specific about what we do. We stay in our lane. We do not deviate. When you first start, you're everything to everybody. Hey, look, I need my porch painted. We love painting porches. I need my deck rebuilt. Yes, we love building decks, But along the way, you kind of hone that in. And what we've done is really kind of, we send everything out that's not like clearly within the 6 services that we offer. And so we send a lot of work out to, you name it. I'm talking roofers, woodworking guys, electricians, plumbers, landscape guys, hardscape guys, pool guys, any type of construction guys, remodel guys, anything in kind of that blue collar trade. We're able to send a lot of work out because we get a lot of requests for stuff. We work with a lot of new homeowners to the area, a lot of people who just got here and they don't have their people yet. I forget, I think it's 50 or 60 miles. If you move from a 50 or 60 mile radius to here, chances are you got to get all new tradespeople.
Yeah.
Everything that you guys probably know this better than me, but you don't bring your people with you. So you have to have a whole new network of guys that are going to work on your house and do your things. And so you want to have those good referrals. So for me, it was finding like handymen. We send a lot of work to handymen, finding out like who's your good guys, who's the good ones around here, and really getting great relationships with them. And we send a lot of work out to them. And even strangely enough, other pressure washers, having good relationships with the good ones around here. We found instead of coming at it from kind of like a poverty mentality, but like an abundance, like, hey, look, we will get big jobs, like sometimes massive ones. And honestly, I'm not trying to make every dollar I can on it. I want to get the job done. and I want to have the customer happy, and I want out of their hair, and I want on to this next one. So it's not uncommon for us when we get like a massive job to hire other pressure wash companies that are good to wash with us, knock it out faster, do a great job, turn it over to the construction manager, the manager of the project, but we're on to our next things. Like, we're good, we're done, we're on to our next. I prefer that instead of being tied up on a job for weeks or weeks at a time. There's so many more benefits that way. So finding those guys to partner with that share that same mentality for me has been key, I'd say.
Yeah, the finding good vendors, it's important. Being in real estate, you have a network of agents, and we can always get some input on various things. Like you're saying, from building decks to basements, all the stuff. But even as realtors and having great vendors, sometimes you make a mistake.
Sure.
And I gave one guy a chance on our brand new cedar fence that was 372 feet of cedar fencing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And nice guy, very nice guy. And, there's some other stuff there, but gave him a chance.
No bueno.
Yeah,
it was not good.
When he pulled out the paint sprayer in a brand new box and opened it up there.
I was like, please do not tell me this is his first rodeo.
That's funny.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I think it was.
Yep.
And we now he doesn't even return our calls.
Yeah.
So even when you try to help people out, you're going to get burned no matter what. But that doesn't mean to stop. But getting back to my point is that to have people that will do a quality job is so important.
Sure.
And people that know us, and I'm sure the same with you. If we mention somebody, it's because we know and we believe that they're going to do a great job. I don't want to put my name on something that is not good.
Right.
You're only as good as the people you refer.
That's exactly right. I love it. And hey, you never make the same mistake twice. I don't care what it is.
That's right, because I'll be painting my own fence come this spring.
Absolutely. I say this a lot, but vet your contractors. I don't care what you're having them do, vet them. And so there's a variety of ways you can do this. One of the things, a go-to, it's like, don't listen to what I say. It doesn't matter. Look at what other people say about working with us is what I always tell our customers. It's like, get 3 estimates if you want to, listen to whatever it is, but don't take it at face value. Look this up. So I always encourage Google reviews. Those are an easy way to vet and see how many people have they worked with that were willing to leave a review, but also what is that experience like? So not only are they a good technician, but what do they leave that experience like? What do they leave your property looking like? Do they leave a mess? Are there guys doing what they're supposed to? Or are they kind of just, all over the place? But vetting your contractors, ask about any special licenses they have. This is key, especially when you get into, not a lot of people know this. Do you know what financial amount you should be qualified for if you're bidding on a job larger than? In other words, if you have to bid on a job, if you're bidding on a job, I don't care what it is in the state of Tennessee, if it's anything above a specific number, whether it's a remodel, could be pressure washing, could be building, could be putting in electric lights. Do you know what that amount is that it would have to be, you have to have a special license for?
I don't. Do you?
1,000?
Anything above $25,000 in the state of Tennessee.
25,000.
You have to have a general contractor license. I don't care what industry it is. If you're a service-based business and you're bidding on a project, large or small, you have to have a general contractor license if you're bidding on projects larger than $25,000. Depending on the county, if you're bidding on jobs $3,000 to $24,999, you should have what's called a home improvement contractor license. This is a step below a GC license, but it doesn't matter what industry. Now, this one's weird because it's not as important, and some counties mandate it and some don't. Williamson does not mandate it. Davidson does. So not a lot of homeowners know that. Not a lot of professionals know that. But if you're bidding on projects $3,000 to $24,999, you should have a home improvement contractor license. Anything 25 and above, you should have a GC license. And it's not widely known.
It's good to know.
But you can always ask.
And it's probably not widely practiced either.
No, it's not.
That's true.
And on the other side of the spectrum, when people ask, what do you think about this contractor or this builder or whatever else, like in our industry, if you say anything negative about someone in this day and age, you can be sued.
Sure.
So I always, my cue is, I don't know that much about that company, but I would Google review and see, that company and just see what other people have said. I've not worked with them. And I just kind of pass it off to Google and they usually call me and they go, why didn't you just say? And I'm like, because I legally can't say anything bad, about another builder or contractor, but I can put you to the right direction to get your knowledge.
And just so that everybody knows, we're talking about Googling the business. So, I pulled your Google business account up and looking at it here, you have 456 reviews just on Google and a complete 5-star rating. I mean, to me, that's unheard of.
Show us your way.
I think we have like 43. We've been terrible at getting reviews. Sure. We're trying to do better. That should be our New Year's resolution.
There you go.
I know there's 5 stars, but the mass quantity is just not there yet.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it is very important, like we're talking about.
It is important.
But I do want to say that's fantastic to see. So you should be very proud of that.
Thank you. We've worked on those for years. We were done this for many years. So yeah, thank you.
So there's hope.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Oh, me. So it's good that when you do have those relationships and you can refer out, it's helping each other, and that's kind of it's the community helping different businesses out, small businesses. Small business has I have a soft spot in my heart, for people, entrepreneurs and the like, because it's not for the weak at heart. It's you're taking it all on, and it lives and dies with you. So it's not easy, like you said. It's very taxing at times, but I'm still blown away by your reviews of 5.0. That's just amazing. And thank you. I joked a little bit about it, but I'm being serious that, that states a lot about your company, but more so of how you treat your customers. Mm-hmm. Because we're in the customer business, we're in the relationship business as well. And, our North Star is that we want to earn a 5-star review from everybody we work with. And I say earn it, don't get, we put everything into it. I can tell that you do the same.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I love that. I love that about you. What is it about this community that you love so much?
Middle Tennessee has a special magic to it. So, and you really get to recognize it, especially when you move away or visit, somewhere else for a prolonged amount of time. There's something magical about this community that I really like. So it's a very welcoming place. I've always thought that here it's very welcoming. It's a great economy. It's a place where you can start a business, and like with networking, you go to these events and you hear these pitches, and you're like, that's a business? Like people make money doing that. I'm sure people say that about pressure washing, but
cuddling,
like, I had no idea, it's just funny. But it's a great place. And I think one of the things about here is you can make your dreams come true here. Maybe here even more than many other places. So, that
I agree.
One of the reasons I think big business continues to move to this area. That's Nashville has an extremely resilient population and economy. And the thing is, depending on what you tune into, what you listen to, and whether it looks like things are going up or down, or there is a little bit of a bubble here, but it's strong. And the thing is, no matter what, things react a little bit differently here than the rest of a lot of the country that we see. And I like a lot of the values here. I think there's a lot of good here. And I think there's something it's very hard to replicate. Not early on, but a couple of years ago, I got an offer to franchise. And basically, this guy was going to help me franchise Superior Exteriors. And I looked at it and I said, no, that you'll come across a lot of opportunities and you have to choose which ones you're going to take. And this was a no after looking at it, because I just told him, because it works here does not mean it'll work anywhere else. We have a great economy. We have, great professionals, great realtors. We have a strong foundation, a great network, but just because it works here doesn't mean we could replicate that in Washington or Alabama or Oregon or anywhere else, Ohio, anywhere else around. There's just different things to it. So, you figure out what works for you and you kind of really stay on that. And for us, I just didn't feel like that was the best use of our time and resources. And for that reason, I just told them we're not going to do that. We're going to focus on this market and stay very localized and really market here.
So for the entrepreneur that is just starting up and they're wanting to get plugged in locally, I know you've named a lot of different places. What 2 places or groups would you recommend for them to get involved, try to get to know other people, I guess to help their business grow?
Yeah. When you're just starting out, especially, and even, for me, I'll look and it's like, I'll get invited to these networking. There are no shortage of networking opportunities around here. There's so many.
No kidding. Just
depending on what you want to focus on and what you want to do. And what I did, I was kind of like, somebody told me this, he saw me at a networking event over here. He's like, you're like a networking nomad. He told me, he's like, you're over here, but you didn't join this group. And I thought it was funny, but, I found that, that's great, but ultimately you do well longer term if you kind of choose maybe, 2 of them and you really just keep going to those meetings and you're consistent. It's rare that I walk into a room and somebody's like, thank God, a pressure washer. We've been looking all over. Thank God. You just appeared
so
out
glad
of nowhere,
you're here.
And
well, it's sort of like realtors. Thank God we got more realtors here.
Right.
Yeah.
We could not find one anywhere. God, So
I know it's like, when someone in your friend group goes, "Oh, they're going to get my real estate license,"
yes.
like, thanks.
Right. Yeah.
Taking half of my referral base.
Right.
Thanks.
Dibs.
Right. So choose 2 and really hone in on that. And depend on where you are, that's a big thing is where you locate. If you're in Nashville, I don't know that market nearly as well, so I'm not certain. But, if they're in my same area, for Thompson Station, I'd say, great groups would probably be like Williamson Inc. Chamber of Commerce is a great one. I really like them for Williamson County based stuff. I've heard great things about Nashville Chamber of Commerce too. And the Connect Nashville groups are great because you got different like locations that like 7 of them, I think now. So just depending on your locality and where you're located, like your chamber's great. And then you can also find plenty of other networking opportunities. I used to go to Facebook, like you go to the little tab on your phone and then it would be like events and you just hit your events for like around you for that week. And like on a week I didn't have pressure washing, I'd be a networking fool. I mean, I'd hit 3-4 events in a day. I'm just going to events. I'm just drinking insane amounts of coffee, going to events, meeting people. I'll still do it like on a day I've got nothing else going on where it's, snow or something. And I just
didn't know you could do that.
So it's fun. It's fun. You get to meet people, and then along your journey, you'll see them like a year later or over here, and it's like, oh yeah, some recognition. But especially when you're starting out, don't be afraid walking into a room where you don't know anybody, because like it seems like everybody knows each other, and they got these groups, and I'm just this outsider coming in. That's okay. Next week, they'll do it again and there will be a newer guy. You know what I mean? You're the new guy for like a day. And then after that, there's a newer guy. So don't even worry about it. Get in. I just went in think it was last Tuesday, I went to a new network group I'd never been to before. It was great. It was extremely high level. It was the people you want to be in front of. It was decision makers. And I walk in, and there's a lot of, pretty seasoned guys. And I'm like, man, I'm the youngest one here. I don't know anybody. Everybody's like a lot more impressive than me. Stop. What am I doing? Why am I belittling myself? I'm going in here. I deserve a seat at this table, and I'm going to get in here. I'm going to make relationships. And I did. And it was great. And so you have to control those, limiting thoughts when you walk into these rooms and not let those determine what you're going to do. Decide, no, I'm here, I'm comfortable, and I'm going to make these relationships. And you go in and, don't let those things deter you.
I love that.
That's good advice.
I bet you are a believer in affirmations, daily affirmations. Yeah. Have you heard of the I Am app?
I've heard of it. I've never used it.
So I recently downloaded that. I love the fact that you can put it on your lock screen. Okay. So now I have it on my lock screen, and it changes throughout the day. And it's perfect. And you can pick exactly what you're wanting to focus on. I mean, and this is just the free level. I don't even know what the paid level is, but if anybody listening and you're interested in affirmations, very, very simple way to do it. If I can do it, anybody can for sure.
And salespeople need that because we're told no a lot more than we're told yes.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Yeah, you just go hunt for that next no. That's what you're on. Yep.
Yeah, that's what you're doing. I know when our daughter was little, she did a lot of acting and commercial acting. And, they're like, oh, how does your daughter deal with being told no all the time? I'm like, next audition. It's just, you don't even think about the no. You just keep moving forward. Could you have made something better? Could you have done something better? And then just move on to the next one and just do it better,
Right.
And sometimes you're just not the right fit for those people, and it's okay.
Sure.
You had mentioned earlier about finding a mentor. Have you had a mentor or somebody that has inspired you? Maybe not even somebody that personally, but has anybody been that person to you that you made a positive change?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Some, in person, especially through career, as I had a boss or I had somebody that I really looked up to, and it wasn't always so formal as, hey, will you be my mentor? But it was like having that ongoing relationship and dialogue, and, where they were at that place in life that I so badly wanted to be one day, was helpful for me. But even more than that, for me, I found that, I really found those guys online, especially that just had that right outlook in life. And it's not that they experienced less problems than you and I did. It's that they went in and they decided they weren't going to be dictated by those problems. They decided they were going to put those problems in the right perspective and they were going to flourish. I don't care what came up. And so that was a huge thing. I'm like, okay, so, you're going along in life and it seems like you have these challenges and these uphill battles and things are not going your way. That's exactly what it's supposed to look like. You just have to decide what you're going to do about that. So for me, some of the big guys that really I just look up to that I've learned so much from, Tony Robbins is probably like my number one guy, that it's just like timeless wisdom that it's just insane how well he manages life and can look at things and decide that this is what's going to happen. And I don't care what gets in my way. I'm going to make these things happen. Tony Robbins, Joel Osteen was great for like a perspective as well, for similar to kind of positive thinking and some affirmations. Yes. I think has been, a key player for me. I got to meet him once when he was in Brentwood at a book signing. That was great. I loved it. It was great.
We were there.
Yeah.
We were there.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, that was 2016 or 17. I think he came into town. It was really good.
Yeah. So we lived in Texas for a few years, and we had a home church, but we would drive and go to Lakewood for the Saturday service.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was, but it's like you said, it was a good, nourishing, helping you, but in the context of God and Jesus. It really helped us. But like I said, we had our Sunday home church, and it was funny going from that church because it was 80. How many people were there? 40, maybe
40, 50 people at our home
Maybe.
church in a small town. Yeah. And then we would drive that hour to Lakewood, and it was
2
probably,
hours.
was it 2 hours total? And it was
the driver.
probably, I was the child wrangler at the time. We had a newborn, but
About 14,000, 16.
Wow.
yeah.
Oh yeah. All
But yes,
different.
14. Yeah. And that's on the Saturday service. I mean, it was just insane how many people, but it was, positive affirmation, but being a positive person in your community.
Mhm.
And I mean, that was really, really preached. And so that kind of instilled, how our attitude not just affects us, but the people around us. And he has some really great books out there.
And he is the person you see on TV.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, for 3 years, face to face, I have to say.
Well, even
it was
Victoria,
great.
you ran into her in the hallway and she stopped and asked, prayed with you. And I mean, just out of the blue.
Wow.
I mean, you would think if you're pastoring 14, 16,000 people that you're busy.
Right.
But no, they never seem too busy for her.
And we sit in the same section every time. It's how it works. Like the same people sit in the same place,
Sure.
just like in the 100. So it was funny because that time when she saw me, she recognized me. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that's just cool. Anyway, all that to say is that it was a very blessed time in our life. And, but yeah, having that positive person to kind of keep the positive things pumping in your mind, the mantras, it's important.
Mhm.
It's just in all businesses in life, but especially when you wake up every day and you don't have a job.
Yeah.
When you own a business, every day you wake up and you find work. And so having all that positivity pumping in your brain is essential.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, we are fortunate, it started about 100 years ago, like the kind of the power of positive thinking and that train of thought, years and years and years ago. And it's grown. And so we've seen these different generations of it to where it is now.
Yeah.
And so fortunately, you kind of can stand on the shoulders of those giants that really started this whole movement and then got it to where it is today, to where, some of it's kind of a little bit older where, it's kind of like, the Dale Carnegies and the guys like way, like our grandparents listened to probably, way along the way. And you kind of like, you hear it's like, that's good. And then they kind of honed it and made it a little bit more modern for, how the times are, to where, you got like Brian Tracy, he's old now. He's very old now.
I was going to say all of our mentors are getting older and older.
Right. But, you get these guys that really been at it for years and years that you're like, okay, they're really on. And they had no shortage of challenges themselves, and you get to hear their personal story, learning about like Les Brown, like what he went through to get to where he is. It's incredible. Like every odd was stacked against him. It did not look favorable. If anybody had a, opportunity to give up and be justified in doing so, it was him, but he decided that wasn't going to be his narrative, his life story. And so you learn these guys, you're like, okay, so it's not like I have any more challenges than anybody else out there. I just have to decide what am I going to do about them and how am I going to mitigate those,
Well said, man.
Very well said.
Yeah.
And the scientific research so much has been done, especially in the past 10, 20 years on the power of positive thinking and how it chemically changes your brain. Mm-hmm. Like, people say, oh, name it, claim it, or say it. And, you speak it out loud, the manifest, your words. And they have now proven that it does, that it actually does that. Trying to keep
like
in that
genie.
mindset.
It's not
a genie.
No, but
it's
manifest, because I think that's the negative connotation people get. Yeah, it's like, well, you think you're just going to say it and it's going to automatically appear. No, it's because it forces your brain to focus. Because a highly focused brain or thoughts, highly focused mind is one of the most powerful things in this world. Yeah, and so we call it manifesting, but it's really forcing it to focus, and your brain being plastic, that it forms and it adjusts to what you tell it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a I was about to say mind-boggling, but I like that would enter the dad joke area there. But it is mind-boggling. But I love how science is now starting starting to really match up with biblical teachings.
Yeah.
And, like the power of the tongue.
Yeah. What my mom always say to me, out of the abundance of the abundance of your heart, the mouth speaks.
Yeah.
So, whatever's in your heart and you speak it out loud is what you mean. We'll kind of do that in reverse, what you're putting in your heart, what you're thinking about, let that be what you speak.
So being in the community, and I'm sure, with you going out and visiting and going to all these different meetings, is there do you have like a favorite local spot that you attend or you visit quite often?
Yeah, absolutely. In Spring Hill, we have a really good meeting spot that at this point we do all of our team meetings at. I do all of our interviews at, and I do a lot of one-on-ones at. It's a really good place for meeting. It's Just Love Coffee. It's right on Main Street here in Spring Hill. Really great meeting place. I mean, second to none. And food's great. Food's great too. So really like meeting people there. It's not too crowded. It's like you got that space and you can talk and you don't feel like you're in somebody else's conversation or they're in yours. So I really like that, and if I'm in Franklin, it's usually at the Just Love Coffee in Franklin off McEwen.
I was about to say, there's a few of them out there now, and they are a great company that gives back as well.
Yeah. So really good organization. They give back, and I think I have 2 meetings there actually tomorrow. So yeah, they're very well run. I really like a lot of the stuff they represent. I like the meeting space that they have. The food's great. So those are, for me at least, it's easy kind of access. You can kind of get in and out of those things. And you don't feel like you're kind of cramped up in a little room. Like, at some places you go to, it's like, man, it's kind of hard to talk in here.
Oh, it is. One in particular I used to go to years ago before Franklin became the it spot to come to. And I don't want to say a name, but I like it. Everybody pretty much knows it. But it got to a point that I could not have a meeting with anybody because you're here, the next person's sitting right beside you, and everybody's yelling.
Right. Yeah.
Or they're all doing Zooms.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're like, can't read my book.
Yeah, but I do like Just Love Coffee, especially that one in Spring Hill. Yeah. Were you with me? Met one of our clients there the other week.
No,
it wasn't you. Okay.
Wasn't me.
Wasn't her.
But yeah, we go in there and we've gone to the well.
Yeah. Good places.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Good places. Good places. It's all right.
So on the before we wrap up, I do want to touch back on the YouTube because I'm very impressed with your marketing, and I look up to you on that. What got you going on YouTube? What inspired you? Because to have 3,000 videos, that is a commitment on a whole different level. And I don't know if you can condense it. If a nonprofit or me or us, what would you share with people about doing videos and the marketing? And is there any insight tips or anything like that? But can you share a little bit more of an overview of how that works with your company?
Yeah, definitely. I found out early on that pictures are great. They're really good. They show. Text is good. But video really is where people often, if it's done right, engage with your brand. And so it's kind of more of a glimpse or a snapshot into you. What is it like? How do you speak? Is it something where they can relate to you a little bit more? I don't know why, but we seem to do that more over video than we generally do over text, or we do even over a picture. So early on, I had to make a decision. There's one of me. What am I going to spend my time on? I run our Facebook, our Instagram, our LinkedIn, our Twitter, our Pinterest, our Nextdoor,
it keeps going.
our Google, which you can also use as social media. Do I want to do YouTube or TikTok? And I had to make that decision. So looking into it, TikTok, great, widely used, hyper fast growing, algorithm second to none. They know how to engage people. They know how to get views. They know how to make people come back to the platform and get you to watch that next video, which is important, versus YouTube, owned by Google, which is the largest search engine in the world, YouTube being the second largest search engine in the world. Organic SEO is there, a little bit more localized than TikTok. And the upload process is just different. And generally speaking, your average demographic that's on it is a little bit older. So looking at it, YouTube made the most sense, went that direction. We didn't even do TikTok, and it's been good. So the thing about YouTube or anything that you're doing video on, it doesn't matter. 3 words, just hit record. Because what you can do all day is get in this analysis paralysis. I need my opening to be right. Should I do that before I film or after I film? Or gosh, is the lighting correct? Or like,
I feel like
should
they're
I do?
calling me out.
Doesn't matter. Start your video
sound.
and go.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be great.
Yeah.
It's not, you're going to get 2 views. They'll be your mom. That's who views it. That's okay. It doesn't matter. You need to get content out there. So watch a bunch of videos, watch a bunch of guys put together this studio, which has like the sound panels all around it and has our plaque and has our stuff. And I just made the videos slightly less bad than the last one. So getting into it, there's 2,900 some videos that we have out there. We have like 33.7 million views on the channel now. A lot of our videos are not hits, but the ones that are hits really went viral. And, once you have 2,900 videos, chances are you'll have a few viral ones out there. It's not that you did anything special or different or, you have this magical solution or formula, but you just hit on that right thing at that right time. So for us, it was good. And I've changed it over time to kind of adapt to what we're doing at that time. As an example being, a while ago, I cared about views. Now, today, I don't care so much about views. I care about local SEO. So I'm not here to be like a content creator. I'm here to be the exterior cleaner for Williamson County. So I do the stuff that focuses more on that. So instead of like having something that gets views in Bangladesh or India or Africa,
Right.
which we've got all of these, we've got emails from these places, or Australia or Spain, where we've got literally emails from some of these guys looking for cleaning solutions that I didn't even know I had to paste it into Google so it could read it for me. Instead, I focus on stuff like for this area, so it's more likely to pop up in this vicinity. May not get as many views, it probably won't, but it's the views that we want it to get. So, you start the content, you get it out there. You get some pro stuff, you get some of your stuff that's like probably not as well done, but you get content out there and you talk about the things that are important. And over time, it builds a little bit of a tone and a brand, and you get some of those repeat guys. And so now, randomly, I was at a networking event yesterday where this guy's like, dude, I've been seeing your stuff. I've been following you. I like all your stuff. And I'm glad I got to meet you in person. It's like, great. I had no idea. I never met this guy in my life. I had no idea who he was. So getting that out there, getting your content out there is important. It will be important tomorrow and the next year and the next 5 to 10 years, at least probably. So I'd say getting it out there, even when it's not perfect, even when situation isn't ideal, so that you have some content and you can build off that and, learn from your mistakes is the biggest thing that I've seen as being helpful for like social media and YouTube specifically.
That's a lot of really great advice.
Yes,
and
it really is. Because you talked about us at the beginning.
yeah, you're kind of like hitting us hard there on being too perfectionist, and it happens, but I think it's great just to pinpoint and just really work on how you're helping the local body, and how you are helping those around you. Kind of goes, with what you were saying earlier about, you're never too, I guess you say, it's never too early to start helping others. You just kind of jumped in there to help, like GraceWorks and other places, like when you can. And I just love that. I think this has been a great episode, learning more about your business, but also just your work ethic and how important it is to, just put yourself out there, working with other local people to help build your business and other businesses. And it's just beautiful. I love it. More people need to be like that.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
I agree. I can definitely see that you are genuine about it, and your giving shows that. And I'm sure it is all helping your growth, not just your business growth, but your personal growth.
Yes.
And since you lived the downside, I guess you could say, of that journey, you probably have a little bit more of a softer heart, and you being able to give back and help them is a testament to who you are, who Grant is. So yeah, I thank you for what you do for this community. I love that you're built this business and you're growing the business, but you're doing it intelligently. You're not just jumping, like you were saying, to franchise it out. You're being very smart, making slow decisions, but wise ones. Thank you so much for coming on here. Thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for giving to this community.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. It's been a real pleasure.
Helping out.
Yes.
Absolutely. So if you want to learn more about Grant or even connect with his company, Superior Exterior Cleaning, we'll have all that information in our show notes. I highly encourage you to check out some of these things that he has shared. Check out the videos on YouTube. I don't know. I especially like the ones where it's just a little short clips where they're doing the driveways and you can see it just change, being cleaned. I don't know. Is that my OCD or is that?
No, it's kind of like that garage floor that I cleaned the other day.
That's true. But anyway, I appreciate all of you tuning in and listening to this episode and getting to know Grant a little bit better. And as always, we love having people on the show that really care about this community, help them. We like to help them shine a spotlight on their business. Yes, it may be a for-profit, but for-profits can help our community out so much.
Yes.
So thank you for listening. That's all for this episode. And until next time, always remember that you matter.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of You Matter Nashville. We hope you found inspiration on this episode and are reminded that no matter where you are or what you do, you matter.
If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and even share it with your friends and family. Also, stay connected with us on social media and tune in next time for more incredible stories from the heart of our community.
Until then, remember, your story matters, your voice matters, and most of all, you matter.